Greetings all. This is Justin.
And this
That's
is
Nick.
That's me.
Yeah.
How you doing, dude?
Not too bad.
Awesome. It's time to do some more comments. In fact, let's just chat about everything that's been going on the channel recently, because I think pretty much since before last weekend, I was making a video every day for the last 10 days or something like that. Gen Con was pretty full on, and I just decided to take the weekend off because that was pretty full on. But that's okay, because we're back, we're making videos. Do some comments for now, and then we'll have a look at some first edition lists in the next video. And yeah, just talk about everything coming out of Gen Con. KeyForge, X-Wing, Legion, all that kind of stuff.
So much.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So we'll have a look at a few comments regarding all of that. Still some things to clarify with second edition. Actually, let's start out with this comment from Sneaky Guitar.
Harry Nick, what do you think of there already being a page of errata for 2.0? Bit disappointed myself.
Yeah, I'm not. I think this is a really good thing.
Yeah.
I see this comment a lot. Also in regards to things pertaining to some of the errors on some cards. Some things that have been changed from Wave 14 to Wave 1 of second edition, if that makes any sense. Wave 14 of first, Wave 1 of second. There are some cards that are different between the cards that we see in Wave 14 and the ones that we see in the conversion packs, core set, whatever. So FFG obviously at some point changed the design for whatever reason. Things like the crest, the emblems on the different cards. It actually occurred to me this morning why they've got rid of that. Because Rebellion and Resistance would look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Or maybe like Empire and Republic would be too close for it. Like little reasons like that. Like, okay, I kind of understand. But having a couple of ones that do have the crest in circulation early, we clearly know what they are. And in regards to the errata, there are no major design changes. I think the only thing that actually does physically change the function of something is one of the mines. You roll for a different amount of damage. I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see. I won't try and guess what that is now. I mean, we talk about other games and kind of thing. I've mentioned the fact that Magic the Gathering in particular, when things need to be errated, it is often before release because they catch something just after it goes to print or something like that. FFG have historically not done that.
No.
It's been errated well after the fact it's gone into circulation, and people have started to complain about certain combinations. And in the case of Bomblet Generator and Genius in first edition, FFG straight up said, "What are you guys talking about? There is no combination with these cards." To which we responded, "Yes, they clearly work together. There is no confusion there whatsoever." Reading the cards should explain the cards, full stop. And errataing things before they come out is just a sign they're getting ahead of their issues, and they're making sure that things don't become issues after they go out in circulation. Already being a page for errata, thumbs up. Fantastic thing. Very good signs moving forward, for sure. We also have a couple of rules clarifications we want to speak about. These keep coming up in basically every list building video I do, so I thought we might have a chat about these.
This one is by Isaac Waffle. So on Collision Detector, does the fact it's a boost or barrel roll apply to decloaking? In the rulebook, it says when you decloak, perform a 2-speed boost/barrel roll. Collision Detector says you may overlap obstacles when you boost or barrel roll, period, not just when you do a boost or barrel roll action. This is what makes me think it applies to decloaking. However, I don't know if it's assumed the boost or barrel roll from decloaking is treated as a separate beast from merely boosting or barrel rolling. Sorry for the wordiness, just brewing with Phantoms recently, and Fire Control System doesn't work since it can't lock if Collision Detector does apply. It would be very hard to zone these guys.
Yeah, look, I think he's pretty much answered his own question there. I mean, you're asking yourself, do you treat this as a separate beast? Is there anything physically on the cards to say that you do? No, there isn't. Yeah. So you don't. It's that simple. It says in the rulebook that when you decloak, you perform a barrel roll or boost. Therefore, things that care about barrel roll or boosting will apply to decloaking. It's just that simple. We have a saying, we're both Magic the Gathering players. Reading the cards explains the cards. if you've read that and that's how you interpret it and there's no ambiguity there. I mean, we've talked about things with ambiguity in the past and it's clearly been, okay, that could be interpreted a certain way based on how we know the rules. Especially when we're talking about collision detector, which did previously state decloaking on the card. We're seeing a lot of design choices where they just cut out a lot of the extra wordiness. And in the rules they say, well, boost and barrel rolling is just decloaking is part of that. It's a nice umbrella term. Therefore, when we talk about boost and barrel roll on cards, we can refer to it directly with fewer words, which means we don't have to use up so much room on the cards. It's about cleaning up design.
The next one is by Barty Lon. Bistan's ability says he can perform a bonus single arc turret attack. Has it been confirmed this also applies to a dual arc primary turret?
Yes, it has. It was in the rules book that came out a little while back. When you have a dual arc, you treat it as having 2 single arcs. That is so that cards that refer to single arcs can work with both. There's no card that only refers to dual arcs. Maybe there will be. Maybe one day there'll be a gunner that says, oh, I care about there being dual arcs. I can see that happening. Especially with things like veteran tail gunner, veteran turret gunner. It's very difficult to line up a ship back to front from a ship. I think the fact that they can go left to right makes it a little bit easier. But anyone who's flown quick draw or TIE SFs in general will attest to the fact that how difficult that is. I think it's slightly easier again because you can go left to right. But yeah, that is an issue. And maybe something to give those ships a bit more flexibility in the gunner slot, which doesn't just give them 2 shots, might be a thing in the future. For the time being, everything that refers to a single arc works with double arcs. There was a bit of confusion with Luke because he was talking about the single arc indicator specifically. That's pretty much been cleared up at this point. There is nothing to indicate he doesn't work with double arcs. So that's just how it is. These last 2 comments are just talking about rules things, which I've been asked about repeatedly, and I just wanted to highlight the 2 most recent ones, just so I could talk about them on camera, because these things are going to come up over and over again. Basically, it comes up with 2nd edition because there are now elements of the game which we have not used over and over again. Particularly to do with cleaning up rules and having umbrella terms that refer to a lot of things that didn't happen in 1st edition. Dual arcs were not a thing in 1st edition. When we're talking about tokens and force and charge and that kind of stuff, I'm basically predicting at this point that those are going to have the most rules questions come up over time. So I'll make sure to try and answer them as best as possible. All right, let's finish off this video with a comment about KeyForge because I am very hyped for this game. And yes, Catherine, thank you for sending this one in. Also, thank you so much. You've been commenting on a lot of things and having a lot of insight on the 2nd edition list, that kind of stuff. So thank you so much for that. Your comment pertaining to the rules of KeyForge.
I've played a variety of TCG in the past, and while they are interesting, they are also a pain. So I love this UDG idea.
Unique deck game, that stands for.
Yeah. Safe to say there are a lot of long-time TCG, CCG players that are having trouble wrapping their heads around this concept. But hopefully they give it a try and maybe find they enjoy playing it. Or not. But I am looking forward to the release. I would love to get a deck now. But, of course, the prices on eBay are ludicrous.
Yeah, don't go buying a KeyForge deck on eBay, guys. If you're lucky enough, maybe one of your local shops has some copies. The guys at my local shop at General Games actually managed to go to Gen Con and get a nice little stack of decks, and you can go to them and play some demo games. But yes, in terms of how this relates to existing TCG, CCG players, you're the biggest TCG player I know, Justin. You got me into Magic the Gathering. I mean, what are your first thoughts on the game? We haven't actually spoken to you on camera about this yet.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I had a quick read of the lore and stuff like that, and I'm just like, ooh, this is kind of interesting.
I have too. Oh, by the way, I'll be making a video on the lore very soon.
The fact that I only have to buy 1 deck, and that's it?
Yeah. How do you feel about not trading or buying cards separately?
I mean, I like to hoard cards, to a certain extent anyway.
I know you do.
But that's because I play a lot of blue in Magic, so...
Yeah.
I'm just like, I need all these counter spells. They're important.
I know. And the thing that gets me with KeyForge is you don't have to have all the spells. In fact, there is no bonus from collecting cards in KeyForge. Not in gameplay terms. I think there still is the argument that you want to collect the cards. You can have a binder full of cards and go, look at my cards, they're great. Maybe they'll be worth something one day. Who knows? But from a point of view of gameplay, they serve almost no purpose. And no two cards are the same because on the back is printed a unique name with the factions. Your copy of this particular warlord from the Brobnar clan is not going to be the same as this one because the back of the card's separate. And that may impact its aftermarket value as well. Yeah, I find that notion very interesting. At the end of FFG's in-flight conference at Gen Con, people were asking various questions about KeyForge, and most of them basically boiled down to, okay, why can't I treat this as a TCG, CCG? Why can't I trade cards? Why can't you buy them on the aftermarket? Why are there no boosters? All that kind of stuff are based on these preconceived notions of how we play card games. And my answer to basically all of those questions is, if you want that, go and play Magic, go and play Destiny, go and play Yu-Gi-Oh, go and play Pokemon. Or if you like CCGs, go and play Lord of the Rings, go play Game of Thrones, I think that still exists. Go play Legend of the Five Rings. There are a lot of good options.
So you've also got the Marvel deck building game, you've got the DC deck building game.
I mean, they're sort of a CCG, I guess.
To a certain extent.
But they're all these different things, and we're talking about trying to satisfy these different desires. The problem for people like me and Justin is we don't want another TCG. It is a huge drain on our energy, funds, and mental capacity playing Magic. And we love it. Don't get me wrong, but holy moly, I can't afford another Magic.
No. I have enough trouble affording this Magic.
Pretty much, the Magic and X-Wing and Legion, all that kind of stuff. The massive appeal for people like us is, okay, buy a few decks, just play them. And
I will buy this deck once.
And play it as many tournaments as you like, that kind of thing. You know, there's no aftermarket. We don't have to worry about who has the most money, can win certain formats. We're already seeing that being an issue with games like Pokemon and Destiny, where there are basically required cards, which is a very bad thing. Particularly when there are bouncing issues like in games like Pokemon, where you have trainer cards which can literally go into any deck. That is problematic. The way games are balanced in KeyForge is the deck curation system balances out the deck for you. You don't just get a deck with 10 copies of the most broken card in the game. You can't get that. Or at least I assume there's no way to balance that out. But however it's balanced, you can't just throw a bunch of money at it and start winning tournaments, and more specifically, keep out the more casual players. That's a really good thing. That's a really good thing.
Keeping the casual market interested...
Yes.
...is such an amazingly clever idea.
Absolutely. I'm going to teach this to my girlfriend. She's not a gamer. Holy moly, I tried teaching her Magic once. It didn't go well.
Don't.
It's really rough.
Do it.
It's really rough. And that's fine. Like, she's not a gamer. She's into other stuff. But the whole appeal of this, me going, oh, wow, I can just show people this. And this is an idea that we occasionally play around with Magic the Gathering. The idea of making a battle box with simple beginner decks. But it's not the main thrust of Magic the Gathering. The main thrust is the Eternal formats and Standard. That is where all the competitive focus goes. And the idea of a game can still potentially be competitive, but still be really accessible to casual players is very appealing to me.
Basically, I'm just interested for the Thieves and the... Was it the Demons?
The Dis. The Thieves. Oh, I don't have the lore in front of me, so I'm not going to check.
Those two are the most interesting houses, I mean...
Dis are basically, think of Nordic Hell, HEL. It's meant to be like that 3-letter thing. There isn't like this whole morality thing with the demons. It's just about taking mortal beings and dragging them to like the world between worlds and experimenting on them. Just the flavour is so good. I'm going to make a separate video on this because holy moly, it's so interesting. But yeah, just so many good signs out of this game. It seems what it's doing in terms of gameplay and where it sits in the market, there are so many pluses for this for me. Like, I don't usually cover card games on the channel, but I will for this one for those reasons. Anyway, I could waffle on about KeyForge long enough. Let's just finish the video here. Thank you so much for the comments, guys. Again, just comment, like, and subscribe in all the videos. It really helps the channel out. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next video.
Bye.